WrestleMania has been a center stage for showdowns that have evoked mixed reactions.
There is so much physicality and impact.
It's where we've seen polarizing title defenses and controversial creative decisions unfold in front of our very eyes.
Asuka still writhing in pain.
This is incredible by the Queen. The Queen pulling out all this. Oh my God! Asuka taps!
Today we'll be covering the 10 most polarizing WrestleMania moments in WWE history. Before we kick things off, keep in mind this list won't include moments like Lesnar ending the streak, because I think everyone agrees that was terrible. The whole point of this list is to include moments that fans don't agree on. I know, right? The comment section is going to be super civil and polite for this one. Now let's get started. Number 10, Sting versus Triple H.
Oh my God! What? It's Sting! What? Stinger's here!
While most wrestlers switched sides between WWE and WCW at one point or another during the Monday Night Wars, Sting was loyal to WCW until his demise. WWE finally put WCW out of business in 2001, but it was years before fans got a glimpse of the icon at WrestleMania. That moment finally came at WrestleMania 31, when Sting battled Triple H in an emotional encounter that included the presence of multiple key figures of the Monday Night Wars. With surprise appearances from DX and the NWO, it's safe to say we got to see a blast from the past. Sting was in great shape, and despite losing to the game, it was clear that WCW's franchise players still had it. A lot of people hated the finish because they thought Sting should have won the bout, and I'm one of them. And that's precisely why this makes the list. Number 9, the Empress of Yesterday.
Thinking about the moonsault. Oh, no. Oh my gosh! Look at Asuka! Asuka got a hold of her!
Asuka's got the try.
The Dead Man streak wasn't the only one that came to an end in New Orleans. The Empress of Tomorrow joined the WWE in 2015, and it wasn't long before she got her hands on championship gold. What many may have not predicted was that she would become the longest reigning NXT Women's Champion of all time and go on to be undefeated for nearly 3 years. Asuka won the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, and she challenged the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair for a match at WrestleMania 34. The two clashed in a match where both Asuka's undefeated streak and Charlotte's title were on the line. After a competitive matchup, and dare I say a certified classic, Charlotte trapped Asuka in a figure 8, which made her tap, and everyone's jaw dropped. The greatest undefeated streak in modern wrestling was over. 2 years and a half. 276 matches. That's how long Asuka had gone without losing before Flair made her tap out. Nobody thought this was going to happen. While the ending stirred some controversy, the match itself lived up to expectations. It was a banger.
Banger!
Some people think Asuka had to lose sooner or later. Me personally, I think she should have won this one. But that wasn't the only polarizing moment of the night. Number 8, a lackluster dream match. From the moment WWE signed AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, fans wanted the two former New Japan Pro Wrestling stars to battle inside a WWE ring so they could recreate their classic match at Wrestle Kingdom 10. WWE kept them apart for a year before they pulled the trigger on a contest that was everyone's dream match. With both men's history of delivering stellar performances, the stage was set for an epic encounter that promised to steal the show. Unfortunately, it flopped. Big time. At the 2018 Royal Rumble, AJ successfully defended his WWE title and Nakamura won the Rumble, which set a date for a rematch at WrestleMania. Keep in mind that at this time, WWE rarely acknowledged other wrestling promotions, but they mentioned their previous classic in New Japan Pro Wrestling multiple times during the build-up. And then the moment finally came. The internet wrestling community was going nuts and laughing at the idea that anyone would dare to follow Nakamura versus Styles, since it wasn't going to be the final match of the night. But to everyone's surprise and disappointment, the match just sucked. Okay, it didn't suck, but it was like not at all what anyone wanted to see. And it certainly wasn't a dream match. The crowd actually chanted boring during the match. Imagine that. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania, and there are boring chants from the crowd. A lot of this comes down to the pacing of the match, since the two wrestled a slow match that didn't resemble their previous classic at the Tokyo Dome. Despite all the hype and potential, the match received mixed reviews from fans. While the post-match heel turn was shocking,
Oh my God!
that's the only thing that people remember about it. This is just one man's opinion, but it might be due to the fact that WWE won't let them wrestle like they can and want to. Just look at the black and gold NXT days, where every single takeover was a classic. Then, as soon as those same guys and girls move up to Raw and SmackDown, they're forced to change their style and, well, suck. Oh well, let us know in the comments if you thought the match was decent. Number 7, Nicholas. Remember Nicholas?
There are 78,000
Nicholas
fans.
is legal! Nicholas is legal!
Once upon a time, the WWE roster had tag teams like The Revival or FTR, and they decided to make Braun Strowman tag with a child at WrestleMania to win the belts. People were angry, and many people thought it disgraced the tag team titles and the division as a whole. On the other hand, some fans just thought it was a fun moment, and it was cool to see a 10-year-old win at WrestleMania. I mean, he was definitely the cool kid at recess next day in school. Number 6, Goldberg vs. Lesnar, WrestleMania 33. Some fans loved it, and others thought it sucked. It was a 5-minute match. Now, there was a lot of hard-hitting action in those 5 minutes, but it was mostly just spears, suplex, F5, and jackhammer.
Lesnar up! Lesnar down! Goldberg down!
Finisher, signature. Me personally, I thought it was a waste of a main event, and it really didn't need the title. But some people loved it. To each their own, I guess. Number 5, Reign of Terror continues. Yeah, this feud was really uncomfortable. A big focus of this feud was Triple H sending Booker T some shots with racial undertones. It definitely left a poor taste in a lot of people's mouths, and it sure as hell wouldn't fly today. Regardless, it happened back then, and a lot of people hoped this would lead to Booker T finally getting his revenge on the grandest stage of them all. While those of us that did were certainly disappointed, because the game's Reign of Terror didn't end that year.
He's got the hand on it, and it's over! It's over! Yeah.
Many fans thought this was a terrible decision, but there are those who would argue that Booker T wasn't ready at the time. What do you think? Number 4, Roman Reigns vs. Brock Lesnar. At WrestleMania 34, these two faced off for what seemed to be the 1000th time, and a lot of people actually thought the match was good, but the fans ruined it. There was even blood in the match, which was rare at the time. The crowd hijacked the main event with CM Punk chants throughout the bout, even though the man wasn't even wrestling at the time.
There is so much physicality.
Me personally, I thought it was great that the audience let the company know that we were tired of seeing these two. Hell, even Brock Lesnar himself was tired.
Yes!
Number 3, Firefly Funhouse. At WrestleMania 36, the weirdest, most unique match in wrestling history took place, as John Cena took on Bray Wyatt in a Firefly Funhouse match. It was a match that caught a lot of eyes, understandably so given how strange it was, but there were a lot of mixed opinions from the fans. Heading into WrestleMania 36, the plan originally was for John Cena and The Fiend to have a regular match. However, due to the pandemic, there was no one at WrestleMania. This led to several creative heads coming out to produce something different, and a match that wouldn't have happened if there was a live crowd. Nobody knew what a Firefly Funhouse match was. At the start, John Cena made his entrance into an empty performance center, only to be transported into the Firefly Funhouse set. After he opened the door, he fell into some sort of alternate reality, which fans thought to be John Cena's inner conscious. John then battled through several elements of his career, like his debut, major feuds, and alternate realities such as the infamous heel turn that never happened.
How about a little heel turn?
Bray would torture Cena throughout the match, in addition to his Firefly Funhouse puppets performing roles such as commentary and what ended up being a fever dream. In the end, Bray Wyatt counted for the finish when The Fiend hit a move and pinned John Cena, but there was no back and forth action. If you look at the reviews for the match online, there are many mixed feelings. Some people went as far as saying it was one of the worst things they've ever seen in wrestling. On the other hand, some people thought it was a 10 out of 10 because it was a breath of fresh air. This only happened because Bray Wyatt's character was unique and had these supernatural elements. With him being so different from the average wrestler, it's no surprise that he sometimes faced criticism throughout his career. Over the years, John Cena has spoken in multiple interviews about the match. John has said that no one knew what they were going to do when the match was first pitched. He also explained that everyone that was involved in putting it together went all in and was ready to risk it all, with the consensus being that it would either be really good or really bad. And the truth is, based on all the different opinions from the fans, it was both. He said there were a lot of instances of heads being put together to figure out the creative direction, with both John Cena and Bray Wyatt having a hand on it. It's a good thing that John Cena knows a thing or two about receiving mixed reactions. If you want to know my opinion, I actually thought this was awesome. Sue me. Number 2, the Rattlesnake shakes hands with Satan.
Stone Cold is shaking hands with Satan himself!
Here's a hot take, and feel free to hate me forever after this one. I actually thought the decision to turn Austin heel wasn't all that bad.
Take him out, guys! Take him out, guys! Take him out!
I know I'm probably alone in this and I'm ready to receive the wrath of the YouTube comment section, but even though his run as a heel that followed wasn't excellent by any means, I think he had to do something here that was unexpected. Think about it. It was babyface versus babyface. If one of these two babyfaces just won, would we really be talking about this as much as we do today? Isn't the whole point of wrestling to make the audience feel something?
For the love of God! Someone tell me this is not happening! It's
I don't know. I feel like that was the right call, because otherwise it would have felt a bit bland. It's safe to say 99% of people disagree though, and think this was a terrible creative move, including Austin himself. Number 1, 60 Polarizing Minutes. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. This is a match most people either think is a classic or a snooze fest. Rarely does someone say anything in between. A 60-minute iron match featuring two of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time, Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart. In theory, this had all the makings of a classic. Two icons at their prime, and one of the biggest rivalries ever, with real-life animosity. However, this is a truly interesting one, because fans' opinions about it are truly split down the middle. Some people thought it was complete boredom, and others thought it was one of the greatest matches of all time. Hindsight 2020, opinions vary because of the match's pacing and its rewatch value. I'll be honest, I don't think it's all that, but I do think it's good. 60 minutes is a long time though, so it's hard to get people invested throughout the whole hour. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. Let's settle this. And that's it for today's video, folks. What do you think is the most polarizing moment in WrestleMania history? Did we miss anything we should have included? Let us know in the comments below. If you thought these moments were polarizing, take a look at the downfall of the most controversial man in professional wrestling history, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. See you soon.